Well, it's June the 30th. I'm doing a little update today. I guess the subject that's come up now is very interesting to me is the whole issue on defunding the police and the Democrats' latest counter move, which is to effectively blame Republicans for defunding the police. Yet I don't know if any Republican that's called for defunding the police wherever or has actually taken any action that would do that. And so here we go again. The Democrats' big lie tactic continues. By the way, if you like these videos, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and give me a like. I'll help out with the algorithm, and forward to anybody who might be interested. Okay, so the basic thought here apparently is that when you're really messed up, just try to change the story by denying everything. And a rather Orwellian twist, they now have come up with this somewhat crazy idea that because the Republicans opposed their massive, unnecessary $1.9 trillion so-called but not really COVID relief bill, which was completely unnecessary at that moment, they are saying that because the cities could have used the money to support police efforts, or they could now say that, well, because Republicans opposed the whole bill, that therefore they were the ones defunding police. But in reality, the money was not targeted for police. There was really no guarantee that anybody would actually use the money to support the police forces. So it's a complete non sequitur and a complete deception, which is important to understand this, because the Democrat deception goes far beyond obvious cases like this. So much of their entire program is a deception. We should be looking for deception everywhere they say anything or do anything, because essentially they're deceptive. And that's an important thing to understand. Plus, they're backed up by a massive media assets, which are totally on board, not into journalism, but into supporting their propaganda. So that's the takeaway from this whole current development. I doubt it will be too successful, because obviously just at the same time they're saying this, the City Council of Oakland, and all Democrat City Council, is voting to defund the police in Oakland further. And almost all the defund movements, I think all of them, have been in Democrat-controlled areas throughout the country. And so this is the situation on that. I would like to go on to say that the Democrats are continuing to position themselves as what I would call the pro-crime party. I mean, now a Democrat-appointed federal judge in the New York area is now throwing out cases because of the exact racial composition of the area versus the grand jury and stuff like this. And I suspect that will be appealed unless the Biden Justice Department chooses not to. But I presume it will be appealed and be overturned. But nonetheless, this shows the kind of thing, that the sort of personnel that they put in key positions and what they're inclined to do. And we're going to have a major problem with crime here that's going to be ongoing, because also, in addition to the defunding the police, is the idea of ending cash bail, even for serious felony crimes. And so you capture a felon who's committed a violent crime, and then you release him on the street the next day. I mean, or the same day even. That's is only going to be fuel for additional criminal activity. And this is happening in Democrat-controlled areas like New York, for instance. And the idea could spread as the Democrats gain any influence or power in other areas. So this is something to be on the watch for. Meanwhile, on the border, the situation continues to spiral out of control. We've had Kamala Harris's visit to the border, which I think has been pretty much panned, because she didn't even go to an area where there's any serious border crisis going on. And I think in that area, the wall is kind of complete, and essentially, I think people are still walking through the gate because the administration is letting it happen. In reality, I would say that Biden at this point, has committed serious impeachable offenses for failing to see that the laws have not been adequately carried out. But of course, there's no chance that will be a useful tool against him, because of the 2/3 rule in the Senate, just as the Democrats couldn't remove Trump. Similarly speaking, the same thing is true about Biden. And so in the meantime, I guess we're facing up to maybe 2 million illegal immigrants this year alone. Several videos ago, and it's been quite a while, I predicted that by the time the administration is over, it would be reach the level of around 6 million. I hope I wasn't, well, I might have been underestimating there, although it's possible as we get deeper into summer that the traffic will slow down as the heat gets. It's been relatively cool so far this year in those areas compared to, let's say, norms. Not that it's cool by absolute standards, but relatively speaking, it's cooler than it has been in previous years. And so once you get into the hotter July and August time periods, that may slow things up a little bit. But for the moment, it's unabated, and it's, I think, being totally facilitated by the Democrat administration. Any pretense that they're really trying to stop it or inhibit it is also a deception, just like their ideas on who's going to defund the police and inhibit effective law enforcement. So anyway, I just kind of want to run through this. Now, another thing has come up, and I don't want to get into it too much today, but I want to at least address it initially, and we'll probably get back with it in a later video, is the issue that Tucker Carlson is claiming that the NSA is monitoring his communications. And this is a very serious charge, but because, legally, unless they have a FISA warrant, they shouldn't be doing that. And the question is, what would be the basis of such a warrant against Tucker Carlson? That's unclear. Yet he claims that he actually has a whistleblower which has provided to him exact details of text or email messages that he was sending to other people, which indicates he is under some surveillance. And there's a number of possibilities here, but I won't get too much in detail on this today, but I'm still kind of doing a little thought process on what could be going on there. So at any rate, I'll kind of wrap this up for today, but I think this is something to watch out for, this whole claim that the Republicans are the ones defunding the police is obviously a complete and blatant lie. And I think it should not only refute that, but it should call into question the kind of things that the Democrat-controlled media networks and what the party spokespeople themselves are saying, and you should be very much in distrust of this because they are a very deceptive group. So I'll wrap this up for now. And by the way, if you can follow me on social media on Twitter and Gab or Parler, and I've got the links in the details below. Thank you.